Hello everyone, welcome back to another Project Gladiator weather forecast. Today I'll be covering the weather for August 20th of 2023, and currently we have a slight risk for southeastern California here with a marginal threat that does extend into Arizona, parts of Utah, and southern Nevada. As for our threats for today, we do have a 5% tornado threat. I likely will definitely go into more in-depth on this 5% tornado threat and why I don't really think that this is all that possible for today. As for our wind threat, we do have a 5%, and as for our hail threat, we don't really have any hail threat for today. If you take a look at our updates from Hurricane Hilary, you can see that it has been downgraded to a tropical storm. It is expected to impact California later today as a tropical storm, bringing the main threat of flash flooding in low-lying areas and tons of rainfall. We could see the possibility of some strong winds. However, overall, our main threats are going to be mostly flash flooding. If we take a look at our 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook, you can see that Tropical Storm Emily and Depression 6 has developed in the Atlantic Ocean. Both of these are not going to pose a threat to the United States at all. Tropical Storm Emily is expected to move northward before weakening back down into depression, and then Depression 6 is expected to move a couple miles to the west and then die. And then we do have these areas. We do have a 50% off the coast of Africa. Then we also do have an 80%. In the southern Caribbean that may pose a threat to the United States. Is honestly hard to tell. It could, but we'll have to wait and see. And then we also do have this 50% in the Gulf of Mexico for this area of development south of Florida that is expected to possibly develop in the Gulf of Mexico and then pose a threat to the Gulf Coast states like Texas and Louisiana. And then if we take a look at our excessive rainfall outlook, you can see for the area that Tropical Storm Hilary is expected to impact, we do have a high risk for flash flooding. This is going to be at least 70% or maybe even higher for flash flooding for Southern California. So again, we are going to see the possibility of tons of rainfall and the high possibility of flash flooding across Southern California. That is going to be our main threats for today. We do have that 5% tornado threat, but as I said, I will go more in depth on that later. However, our main threats for today are going to be the 70% high risk for flash flooding across Southern California associated with Tropical Storm Hilary. Taking a look at our dew points on our radar Omega models, I'm not going to be taking a look at our 500 millibars because we already know what's going to be triggering this slight risk region for Southern California. So starting off with our dew points, we are expected to see some fairly strong dew points associated with lots of rainfall across Southern California. This could support the possibility of strong instability. However, with ongoing convection with Tropical Storm Hilary, that is expected to weaken our instability significantly, leading to overall fairly weaker instability than what we would expect with dew points in the upper 60s and low 70s. And then taking a look at our instability, you can see that we are expected to see very, very weak amounts of instability across Southern California. We are expected to see CAPE values that are really only going to be limited into the triple digits, which is not really going to support all the much of a possibility for really much anything. This amount of instability is not really going to be able to support the possibility of that 5% tornado threat region, as well as the possibility of damaging winds and hail. And even if we did have the potential for hail, that wouldn't really make sense because speed shear is a tropical storms and hurricanes kryptonite. You do not want speed shear for a hurricane or a tropical storm, as it will tear it apart from the inside out. So we aren't really going to see all that much of a hail potential. However, we may see the possibility of some winds with Tropical Storm Hilary. However, as I would see it, I don't really think we are going to see all that much of a tornado potential with overall weak instability. However, with tropical storms and hurricanes, we generally do get some strong directional shear, so we may be able to see the possibility of some spin up in the atmosphere and some rotation, maybe a few tornado warnings. However, I don't really think this strong instability is going to support the possibility of a couple tornadoes in that 5% tornado threat region across Southern California. Something that we can look at to back up my case even more would be our energy helicity index models, which, if you don't know, combines our directional shear and our instability to give us the best location and possibility for tornadoes, given our instability and our directional shear. You can see that we do not really have all that strong energy helicity index readings for this particular location. This is something that you would more so see towards a very weak 2% tornado threat region. However, some areas of stronger instability may be able to support some spin up and maybe a funnel cloud in this particular location. However, very, very weak instability, I would assume, would not support this 5% tornado threat for this particular location. So overall, I don't really think that this 5% tornado threat is very necessary. And you can see energy helicity index and our instability does support that statement as well. Now that I've told you the weather, please go down to the description and check out the socials for Project Gladiator. Join the Discord for any updates on Project Gladiator. If you live in any of the areas I covered for today, please stay weather alert for the time being, and hopefully I will be able to see you guys tomorrow with another forecast.